Hey guys, it's Molly Sanya. It's Monday night and it's Throwing with Molly. And tonight, Kendall is throwing with Molly. Thanks for tuning in. Kendall, cheers. You just have water.
Water.
I have water as well. Cheers.
Staying hydrated.
Yes, my one friend tells me it's bad luck to cheers with water, but if not with water, what else? So Kendall, guys, is my awesome studio intern. You've been crushing it. I really appreciate all your help.
Always work hard for Molly.
You should see how clean it is in here. So tonight, Kendall, we'll talk more about Kendall in a second, but we're going to start with bowls. Kendall is a high school ceramics student, ceramics 2, and he already has a great foundation. Oh, I love the comments. Let's go. We're going. Argentina. So let's get a bat. You've got some clay. So he's not a beginner. He already has a great foundation, and Arts in the Park is coming up. So I'm going to make, I have a list of things that I want to make tonight, like berry bowls, vases, berry bowls, plates. And so if Kendall can do some bowls, they might become berry bowls. So,
alright.
We'll start with berry bowls. Now tonight when we make a berry bowl, we just throw it, and then once it's leather hard, we can flip it and trim it and put the holes in. So, as we get started, I'll let Kendall kind of introduce himself a little more.
My name's Kendall. I'm Molly's studio intern.
Love him.
Go to Goochland. Live out in Goochland in the country. Ceramics 2.
We just went and got tacos, except they came a little later than we thought. So we haven't really eaten our tacos yet, but it was cute because we're driving back and Kendall's like, I'm not used to the city because he's in the Goochland.
All these roads are pretty
Let me
scary.
turn this on for you too. Can you get it over there?
Yeah.
Is that not weird? You're left.
Being left.
Are you a lefty?
No.
Okay.
But like.
Is it too close?
Well, I don't have to keep my foot on
We're in a tight, small area, and Kendall's pedal is right here. So are you comfortable?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. So we're good. So yeah, Kendall is awesome. So tonight we're gonna do berry bowls. Before we kind of went over cylinders, but now we'll go over bowls. All right. So we're just doing dry to dry, coning up, coning down. And so Kendall, I feel like a lot of people watching are maybe in Kendall's position. You're in maybe high school or even college, and you're like, I love clay. You love clay.
Love clay.
Kendall has his own studio now.
Yeah, in my garage.
In his garage, and he got a kiln, and you fixed your own kiln.
Craigslist. Always a good place to buy things.
People are always asking, where do you get a wheel or a kiln? You really found it on Craigslist? In Richmond?
It was in Harrisonburg.
Harrisonburg! JMU! Y'all know. It's my school. We love your helper tonight. Kendall rocks.
That's my stepdad.
Hey, stepdad.
Hey, Scott.
Alright, I just started throwing 3 months ago. Yes, it's quick to get addicted. How long have you been throwing?
Like since Christmas. So, yeah. And I taught myself watching YouTube videos and had my first real lesson today with Molly. Helped a lot. You should take an experience.
Stop. So I'm still coning up and down because I feel an issue in my clay. And we were talking about this earlier, like, when are you ready? I still feel an issue, so I'm going to cone up and down a little more. Look, YouTube for the win.
Yeah.
See? You'll see. YouTube. You can learn everything on YouTube. I learned how to do my hair on YouTube. It's not a braid, it's a twist. For real.
What a no.
You don't know about braids as much, do you?
Nope.
But a French braid is hard. Your hands get tired, but a twist is not. Livy Melton, heart. I see you, Livy Melton. Okay, so bowls.
Okay, so I think I'm
so
pretty centered.
Does yours feel good?
Yeah, I had a lot less clay than you though. Like, probably like 2 pounds.
That's okay, I just had that weird arrow. Okay, so now we're centered. So now we'll just kind of open. When I do a bowl, I like to leave enough room at the foot. Like, instead of like opening thin like we did our cylinders, like a little more so I can trim.
Like a ½ inch probably.
Yeah.
1 inch. ½ inch.
Again, I never really measure, but ½ inch sounds great. Oh look, Kendall rocks. Love your #1 fan. Hey mom. You did great with Kendall because he is awesome. I really love having him. He cleans the studio awesomely. And look at him throwing. He taught himself in December. I did not know it was that recent.
Yeah. It was worth it. All the money was worth it.
You've only just begun.
Yeah.
So I opened and I'm pulling towards me. You remember how we talked about making the bottom?
Yes.
So you don't want to just open. You want to really establish a bottom because the berry bowl, I want the bottom like this wide.
That wide, or
Yeah, so, and I like how your hands are connected and you're like pulling and good to go. He's crushing it.
All
I did
right.
not realize just in December. So, and
Why?
then, well, when we're doing a bowl, we're looking for a continuous inside curve. So, like, after you've opened, I might just open it just a little more. But take your sponge, and with your sponge, like, see that weird little thing I just did?
Yeah.
So,
Push
with
that
your
down.
sponge, elbows against your body. I like to hold the sponge like a little bird, like I'm like feeding a little bird. So, elbows against your body, hold it like a little bird. Both hands hold it.
Oh, the sponge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just reach to center, and then go over to 3 o'clock. And as you go back and forth from center to 3, you're making the transition so that the center is the lowest. And then as you come up here, you relax, and then you press harder, and you're just taking the time to make that curve.
All right.
And shaping, sometimes my shape will have a bump, and it makes it look wobbly out of the center. Let's see. So when you're shaping something, you'll have a bump in it. Is it, maybe you should wedge more or cone up and down more? Like maybe it's a stiff piece of clay
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
it? Maybe. So wedge more, cone up and down until you feel it smooth. Argentina, I see you, Argentina. Beautiful!
Good.
Oh my gosh, y'all. This is looking good. This is looking good. Okay, so I need to open mine more. Yours is great. I'm going to open mine more, especially because it's bigger. And then when you're doing a bowl, you just want the center part, the lowest point. So by going up and down patiently, you're creating that continuous curve to the center. There's no map tonight. I love that you noticed that there's no map. We were talking about the map at tacos.
The map's a little not happening tonight.
Not tonight. We thought it was a lot. Tori Kelly, I don't even know this song, but I'm glad you like it. Okay, so when we pull the difference of a cylinder and a bowl, a cylinder we start here to a volcano.
Mm-hmm.
A bowl, this is still the boss hand, so it gets anchored, but the difference is this inside hand starts in the center and it glides over
And out.
to make that continuous inside.
Okay.
Because if we start right there, we put a groove in it. So this hand's pressing. This hand doesn't really do anything. They're connected. It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. And then as it's pressing over and up, it squeezes that clay. And it kind of goes. I like to go out a little, but then more up.
But not like majorly out.
Yeah, because just keep the inside curve and then up. And then we can shape it.
Okay.
Like a cylinder. We pulled and then we shaped. Guys, this is so fun. It's so fun to have you tonight because Kendall's been with me now for how long?
I think January, maybe?
Is it January?
March,
And now it's
February.
almost summer. That's seasons.
I think it was Christmas break.
Oh my
You
gosh.
posted your thing.
I did. I posted a thing and you responded.
Mm-hmm.
And now here we are.
Didn't think I was gonna get it, but here I am.
Kendall's killing it. I'm so lucky to have Kendall. Kendall keeps me sane because I get really messy. I get a lot of comments about how do you keep your studio so clean. It's not clean though.
Yeah, sometimes I come down here and I'm like, oh my god.
It's not
I was
clean
like,
all the
what
time.
are you doing?
And y'all probably watch. I'm a mess. But I like your tutorials. Thanks for watching. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, I'm missing. Sometimes when I'm opening and pulling, it becomes off center. Anyway, I can fix it. Yes, you have to be patient. You have to be here, and then here, and then here. When you're throwing, you want horizontal lines. So if you stop and you see diagonal, you're doing that. You're like coming up way too fast, and then you're getting it off center. If you just are here and then you get off, and you come off fast, it's like boop, 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 boop. So the trick is just you're here, and you're rotating, and then you're here. You can't see my hand here, and then you're here, and slow the wheel, especially if you're doing a bowl, because it will get off center.
Yeah, that
real
was
fast.
my biggest mistake. I would never slow the wheel and it would go, and it
Yeah.
would fly off.
And
Not
such
fly
a-
off, but it would turn into a plate.
But get out of control. You're crushing it. So I would say just compress your lip,
Okay.
and then we're gonna shape. So I'm gonna get mine to where Kendall's is. His is great. He's pulled the walls. He has an interior curve.
Kendall, your prices are too low, man.
Oh my gosh! Do you know who that is? Or
No,
they,
but
I
my
love-
prices are low, but still no one wants to buy any.
Yes,
Yes.
Kendall. Agreed. Raise those prices. I love that. That means they're looking at your
Mhm.
website and your prices.
Oh,
I
that's-
love that.
She's in my ceramics class.
I love it.
Rachel, thanks Rachel.
Love it, Rachel. Okay, so now that we've kind of established a curve in the bottom, as opposed to getting that sharp transition,
Mhm.
we've pulled the walls. Now we can kind of shape it.
Okay.
When I do a bowl, I always am only looking for two things. The interior curve and the top portion. Because whether you're using lugs of play or a Giffen grip, when you flip it over, you can't trim right there. So, right now, this top part is thin enough. Your top part is thin enough. But the interior, I don't love the curve. So, you have options, but the rib is when we shape. So you could go from the inside, and I like this curve here. And if I just put that there and kind of push it outwards, it will start to transition this curve to that lower wall. And I can just gradually push out and maybe support it. Kate Fry Kate, if you're watching, she had never used a sponge. You use a sponge?
Yeah, I always use a sponge.
Okay, she never used a sponge. Isn't that a game changer? Right there. So
it helps so much.
So much. So maybe in my outside hand, I'll put a sponge. I mean, I do it differently kind of a lot, but to get that shape to transfer, I'm just pushing this curved edge. So I'm just going to push out, and the sponge is just adding a little support so that my inside hand can see where it's holding it to it's at the top.
Yeah. So
that the inside hand's lower, but it's just kind of pushing out. And really when I'm doing this, I'm looking on the inside and I'm like, can I fit enough berries in there? Or is it too small? And is that curve there? And then I got a little nick there. I just smooth it with a sponge. Dude, I had that same problem. It just takes a lot of social media work. Also, if you get enough stock, you look for an artisan fair, flea market, or some other place to sell. Yes, I think farmers markets are a great place.
I'm going to try to get into the Goochland Farmers Market.
I think you should.
Out of Mannequin Sabbath, if anyone has ever heard of that.
I used to ride horses in Mannequin
Really?
Sabbath. Yes. It's beautiful out there. I'm going to use a sponge from now on. It's so helpful. Fry Kate. Game changer. Yeah, so I just like to create that curve, and once that curve is there and the lip is smooth enough, that's it. So, I'm going to with a knife undercut too a little bit.
Okay.
We can talk about that when...
Does that look Polish enough?
That's looking beautiful.
Should I do some more?
That's looking beautiful. So what I would say is stop, or no, I just look at the bottom, and I might take the rounded edge. You hold it.
Okay.
And then this hand, if you tilt this slightly away at the right, I'm a right-hander, you're a right-hander.
Yep.
So if you're holding the rib slightly to the right, angled away, it will never catch the center. Like so slightly
So like
in
that
front.
way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this hand can just push out a little more, but feel this hand supporting it.
Yeah.
And just pushing right there. And then come up. And see, now just kind of open the bottom a little more.
Yeah, I think I was stabbing into it too much.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be awkward because if you got, like I got that mark too. I smoothed it out with my sponge. But sometimes if you catch it, you're like, ugh, gouging out the clay. I've gouged plenty of pots. Okay, so I have this list of what I'm going to throw. You keep just killing out the bowls. Berry bowls, vases. I might do a plate. Oh, I'm going to do colored clay.
Oh, cool.
Colored
I got
clay.
the wonky knife.
Okay, use mine. Use mine. So, the wooden knife tool, Kendall, what do you think about it?
Game changer. Trim off so much less. And it also looks better, like instant gratification.
Yes. So hold it like a pencil and just turn this little edge here is going to cut, so you're going to just turn it there, like that, and hold it really tight and firm, and just touch, like I'd say like here, and then just patiently and gradually all the way until, boom, you're there. Boom. So it's that slow insert at an angle and it pre-trims. And then I don't wire cut mine here.
Already lost it.
I lose my tools all the time. I'm like, this place is small. I can't lose it.
I know, and everything's white, so.
But I lose it anyways. Alright, I'm just going to walk this over here. Alright, crushing it. Oh, I need my colored cut. So Kendall, tell them more about you.
I used to be really into photography. I just posted a cool Instagram of steel wool. Did you see that?
No.
The steel. Do you know what steel wool photography
Is it on the Kendall Odell?
Yeah, my normal account.
I just tagged his ceramics in my story. So if you're trying to find Kendall's ceramic journey, I just tagged him. Hola, saludos, Argentina! I'm only 17. I love throwing already. Thinking of buying a wheel for my basement. Any suggestions? What tool did you just trim with? What type of clay to use? Yay, Kendall! Stoneware. We use white stoneware. What tool did you just use?
The rib tool? Oh, no, the needle tool.
The needle tool?
The needle tool. Or the metal wooden knife.
Wooden knife. And the wooden knife, we have a couple. I have favorites. I don't know if you can see. This one's the best because it's. This one kind of bows. So we're sharing this wooden knife tool. I hope that was the question. How much water do you need to use while you are working so that the pieces do not break when it dries? Well, it's so pretty. Yay.
Oh, thanks.
It is so pretty. So you can answer that one. How much water do you need?
When throwing or when you are
When
storing
it says when working, so the piece does not break when it dries.
If you sponge off enough water while you're throwing, it shouldn't be too wet. Don't leave a puddle in the bottom, 'cause that's the worst. And what else?
A lot of water in the bottom is gonna lead to a crack.
And I have a spray bottle at my house, so like if the top dries out
Love the
too
tip.
sooner than the bottom, I'll spray the top. Because if not, it'll like get a crack in the middle.
Uneven dryness. And you know what? That's another good one. It can crack if your lip is really thin and your bottom is thick because then they dry differently and that can lead to cracks. How much should I pay for a good wheel? Oh, we skipped the wheel question.
Oh, so I just bought
Again,
a Shimpo
yes.
VL light. I think it works great. It's 1/3 horsepower. I don't really know what horsepower is. Do you? Like on a wheel? No, I don't know. But I think it makes it spin faster. But I think that's like a great beginner wheel. I wouldn't get a tabletop wheel
Good. Yeah, me either.
just because
If you're gonna make that investment,
it's $100 more for like.
so
So just
yeah.
save up your money.
yes.
It's worth it.
So and for those of you out there that are like, oh, I need a wheel, I need this and that. Sorry, I'll put it over here.
Okay.
So you don't have to get up. For those of you asking about wheels and kilns and where you get them, Kendall had nothing when I met you, right? And now you've gotten a wheel, you have a kiln,
Yeah.
and you fixed and you changed your own elements on the kiln. I don't even know how to do that.
I didn't either, but I figured it out.
Was it YouTube? Did you figure it out?
No,
on
the
YouTube?
manual.
Oh, the manual!
I've never read a manual before, but I did for that.
Oh, look, they're doing an independent study in these videos. Help! Oh, yay! I so want to learn how to do pottery. Well, Kendall learned on YouTube. Love pottery. I love pottery. Don't you love pottery?
Yeah. I used to just buy like bags of clay and make hand-built stuff, but like I never really liked it, so.
And then where do you fire it too? It's like it is an investment. Like you've gotta like invest in the space and the equipment, but then you have it forever. What type of clay do you prefer? I've only thrown with this stoneware. This is what we use at school, and it's what I get at home. And
Have you never thrown with earthenware?
So at
It's
my elementary
horrible.
school we used earthenware.
I don't like it. It's too chalky.
And it's not as solid and firm.
And it doesn't turn watertight either.
You have to glaze it.
Mm-hmm.
See, Kendall knows so much, and he just taught himself on YouTube a couple weeks ago. Really, we could say weeks.
Yeah, it's like 8 weeks, 9 weeks.
Weeks.
10.
Weeks ago, this kid didn't know anything about throwing, and now he has his own wheel, his own kiln. He helps me like the best. Okay, I'm doing a colored plate now, I think. I used to microwave kiln before. They're small, but they're pretty cool. My class uses them for small scale raku. We just toss it in the microwave kiln for 10 minutes. And then remove it in the can, 10 minutes.
I'm about to try that when I get home.
I'm literally imagining a microwave, like, boop, 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 done. I just started throwing this year at my high school. So fun.
Yeah.
When did you start? This year then, at high school?
Last year.
Okay.
Like we just did activist projects. And I did one to raise awareness for cystic fibrosis, if anyone.
Raise that awareness,
Yes.
Kendall. Raise it. Tell us everything. Why did you pick that cause?
I just know a lot of people who like have family members that are affected by it, and it's just like it needs to be cured. And people put too much emphasis on other things, and
You put your emphasis on cystic fibrosis.
you can't forget about stuff.
I love that. Art for a cause. What do you recommend for buying a kiln for the first time? Kendall, you handle that. How do you buy a kiln for the first time?
When you're beginning, anything that works goes up to the highest temperature and like is in good condition.
That's true.
I don't think any of the kiln brands are that. What do you think about that?
I got an LL because I was told I could change the elements myself really easy compared to the other kilns.
But like, you don't think one brand's better, like Scott or?
I don't know. I mean, at school we have cone arts, and they keep breaking down. It's like they know when we have a show, and they just break.
Yeah, we have Scott, and it breaks down all the time. Like after a cone's expiring, you open it, and all the elements are just poured out into the thing. So
How
it's
old is it though?
Probably like 5 years old.
It's not that old.
I got a Mako kiln. They make the Brent wheels.
Yes.
And it works really good. $200 off Craigslist. Came with new elements.
And I was so impressed that you fixed your own. See, let's be real. Even though the LLs say you can change your own elements easier, if they break, I know who I'm calling now. Like, Kendall, you know about these. Come on and help me.
Make sure they're pre-stretched.
Oh,
So I
good
didn't know the
tip.
elements weren't stretched, so I was like standing across my driveway pulling elements.
Because I guess to ship them, they pack them all tight and coiled up.
I was like, this would be so easy.
Yeah, it's just nice and tight and just fragile, just real patient, really anchored. That's why you can just hold on tight and go slow, slow,
Slow.
slow. And ceramics, when you're doing something slower is always better. Well, I lie, because when you're centering, you want speed, and when you're doing something, you want it fast. When did you know you wanted to be a ceramics teacher? Love these questions. I need a studio in Las Vegas. Oh, I love that you're in Las Vegas. When I became a ceramics major, I remember telling my mom I wanted to be a ceramics major, and she paused and said, well, you better get your teaching degree. And I was like, that's genius. That's even better. Ceramics and teaching, I love it. So that's how I knew I wanted to teach. So you're just crushing it over there. You can put it under there maybe.
Yeah.
Love these questions. I feel like I missed a question. I feel like I've missed a lot of questions. So just ask us again. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is so fun. And Kendall, I'm so excited to have you. This is
Thanks.
so fun.
Yeah,
I
it's a
can't
lot of
believe it's
fun.
been since December. It's Kendall's great.
I spent a lot of hours out there, so.
Kendall, and I hope Kendall, art's in the park. Kendall just told me today he's never been, but I told him it's going to be so fun. What's the best workshop you've taken? All of them. I feel like you can't have enough teachers, and everybody can teach you something, even if it's how not to do something. Everybody can teach you something. So I've had a lot of great teachers. One of my favorites was Gally does art. I was just telling Kendall about he is on Instagram and does the Naked Raccoon. I went to Greece to learn from him, and Marilena. Oh my gosh, they're so sweet. I did really love them. Do you think, to give you some tips on my throwing. So if you want tips on your throwing, I love that. I check on my website because I offer Skype and FaceTime sessions for just that. Like, I can watch you throw and kind of see, oh, your elbows, they're out here. If you anchor them, you're going to be better. Oh, you're coming up too fast, slow down. Oh, you're going too slow, go faster. So it's easier that way, so we can get more communication. Do you think, oh, I missed it.
What's the biggest
Thank
ceramics
you.
mistake you've ever made? Not getting involved sooner?
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that yours?
Oh, no, because I believe in timing, and it worked out for me. It worked out for me. What's yours? Maybe rushing or not having a plan. When you sit down without a plan.
I always sit down without a plan.
And do you do well?
No.
If you have a plan.
Well, when I have a plan, I do good.
Yes. So I think have a plan.
Whoa.
Anchor your elbows. Slow down. All these little tips. Working without a plan is hard. Yeah. The more you have a vision, and I tell my students they have to use sketchbooks and bring in actual images, because then, like if you say, I want to make a cup, and I'm like, awesome, do it this way, but you have in your mind a different one. But if you bring in an image, you're like, I want to make this cup. I'm like, oh, you only need this much clay, you're going to open this way, you're only going to pull it this way. Oh, so when you have a vision, it's like, we can do that. Do I ever throw straight on the wheel? Only, no. If I'm throwing off the hump, maybe. Slow down. Who, you?
Yeah.
I love speed
I'm not at full
when I'm
speed,
coding. I like
right?
speed when I'm coding up. Let me see what you're doing over here.
Oh, I got it under control.
He's got it. Slow down your wheel. So I guess that's him. But I like speed when I'm centering and coning up and down and opening and all that. OMG, I'm so excited already. I'm just over the moon watching this live. Is that one of your friends? Or no?
No, Art
Gosh.
with Anika.
Love you, Art with Anika. Thanks for tuning in to me. So excited. We're excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, so excited.
What's that? I just started my first Potters class last week. Oh, thanks for watching. I love doing the live stream because I love clay and talking clay, and sometimes it's just way easier to communicate quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this fun? Like you get
like
questions.
watching it is like you learn a lot actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like people's questions, you're like, oh, I never thought like I'd have to ask
Yes,
that.
I
but-
love the questions. So thank you, the people that ask questions, because apparently other people are liking your questions too. Who's your guest, Molly? Thank you for asking. This is Kendall,
Studio intern.
studio intern. He has an Instagram of his own ceramic journey, and I just tagged him in my story post. So if you want to check out Kendall's ceramic journey, click on my story. He's been helping me since December.
Mm-hmm.
He's self-taught via YouTube, and he's only been throwing since
December.
December. I'm like, you tell him, Kendall. Kendall is just great too. He helps me. He comes every Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes, most of the times, my studio is a wreck. Well, and right now, I told you before, I'm like embarrassed that my studio is not a wreck because that means I haven't been making. So I'm glad it's a messy. What's the hardest part of ceramics? Finding time to put the practice in, I would say. At the beginning, it's all about practice. You have to just get the time in, and sometimes it's hard. Why not straight on the wheel? Just starting throwing for the first time 2 weeks ago. I got to go, but I'm definitely going to give Kendall a follow. Hello. Okay.
Thank you.
Follow him. He's
Yeah.
crushing it, guys. When you see his work, he's self-taught. Okay, let's get back to these questions. Great work. You were so kind. You're so kind.
See, we don't have any alone, but this is a community college, so we may have to buy my own.
Yeah, go on Amazon. A lot of things you can get on Amazon for not that expensive,
Or
like
a community
tools.
art center.
Or a community art center. Yes. So somebody asked about the bats. This is why it's nice to have a bat. You just boop, pick it up, put it over, it dries. You boop, put it back on. If without it, you have to like get in there and lift it.
You can
And
never make a plate. That would just be horrible.
you can't make a plate. That's so true. I had.
How long can you let projects sit out before putting them into the kiln?
You want to take that one?
Probably, I do it until they turn bone dry white. Depends on like where you are. If you're in like a damp area, which my garage used to be really damp because of course it's a garage.
In the winter.
Yeah, so it would take weeks to dry something out.
Yeah.
And trying to recycle clay, I'd have to let it sit out for a good 2 weeks.
So that's the safest answer. Kendall just gave you the best answer. You let it get bone dry and then you fire it. But I will say, when I started when I worked in elementary school, same thing. I would make sure they're bone dry and then I'd fire it very slow. But now I realize the preheat.
Mm-hmm.
You can just preheat at 200 for like 20 hours and then you're fine. 24. If you want to be real safe, if you preheat something at 200 degrees for 24 hours,
You're fine.
it's probably dry, and then you just bisque fire it real slow. What happens if they have been sitting out by accident for a few months? You can still fire it. That's fine. But if you want to trim it or add a handle or add carving, no. Then it's probably bone dry and there's no moisture. But what does that say? I started my first ceramics class and I'm hooked. I want to join a community studio, but I need to know more about the fire and glazing side. My class doesn't cover too much. Any good resources? And have you been on Potter's Cast? I was on the Potter's Cast.
Is that a podcast?
It's a podcast.
Is that what you
The
were talking about
Potter's
earlier?
Cast. Yes.
You're like, my podcast came out today.
No.
Different
That's
one.
I like the School of Greatness
Oh.
and Oprah's Super Soul Sunday. And so all week I have to wait until Monday for them to be aired. But the Potter's Cast is the third podcast I listen to, and every week they have a different Potter, and they just talk.
They just
for
talk
like
about
an hour.
play.
Yeah, and every episode they focus on like either, like it's just interesting. Everyone is interesting. But good resources for fire and kilns. You know what? I was a ceramic major and an art education licensed graduate when I left college, and I didn't know how to fire a kiln.
I
So-
found my kiln.
You fired your own kiln,
Yeah.
but who taught you?
No one.
You have to kind of just do some things. Like, I definitely asked people, and the people that came before me and the art specialists in my zone, they're all very supportive, and like other art teachers helped me, but it's like you just gotta do it too.
I feel like an electric kiln's harder to fire. For some reason, like, I don't know what all, like, the numbers, you know?
Well, in yours, do you have a manual or an automatic?
I have a manual.
A manual.
So I put the cone in, turn it up every hour, so you have to babysit it.
That's
Sometimes
dedication.
it's really hot.
If you buy a piece of Kendall's, you know it was fired with love, just as it was made with love.
We just need like a slideshow.
What do you use for the decals? I know it's decal paper and a decal printer. I recommend Justin Rothschink's website.
Oh, is that your Beyonce mug?
Beyonce mug was inspired by Justin Rothschink, and he's an artist. I've never like worked with him personally, but he has a website that is a great resource, and I liked his artwork, and he's very kind in sharing his resources, and so I consider him kind of a teacher, even though he's never like taught me really.
Favorite thing to make?
Bowls. I love a bowl. They're functional, they're fun, they're easy, they're like therapeutic.
I like a vase.
So I'm making a vase, but I had wanted, I know, we should switch. Do you want to shape this one? I had wanted to make a medium vase, and this one's kind of a little larger on me, So you're still making bowls, I'm making a vase. This is Kendall, my studio assistant.
Yeah.
He's awesome, senior in high school. He worked hard to skip a grade basically, or graduate early. Proud of you.
Thanks.
I would have never done that.
Ready to get out of there.
And you're doing it. Doing it. And Kendall's self-taught. Did we mention that recently? Oh, I can't talk. Is it getting late? It must almost be 9.
Yeah.
Because I can't talk.
It's 8:54.
8:54. You have 6 minutes. It's been so fun. I love Monday nights when y'all tune in and ask questions. I'm sorry that I missed them all.
Do you have tips on making long neck? I just made a long neck bottle earlier.
Tell them
Molly
the
taught
tips.
me.
Tell them the tips.
When you compress the top to make it skinnier, you always have to go back down and pull the walls back up, or it's gonna collapse.
Yes.
That
Yes.
sounds
No.
good.
That sounds great. And you want to repull because when you belly out, it thins it, but when you like squeeze in, it thickens back up. So you want to do it gradually. You want to neck in, pull, and then it's gonna get so tall you can't get your hand down in there. So you have to get a throwing stick, which could be like the end of this wood knife, and you just instead of getting your finger, you get that in there. I'm going to culinary school and want to plate my food on my own pottery. That's why I got into clay, because I like to cook and I love to eat and I love to entertain, and what's more fun than serving your dish on your own dish? So look, this just got really weak on me and wanted to collapse. I'm sure y'all saw that. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just take it off. I'm not gonna overlap because it wants to collapse right there. What I'm gonna do is take it off, and maybe tomorrow I'll come finish it. It'll be a little stiffer. It won't be so thin and wet and flimsy. Do you love being an art teacher? That's why I love it. Love it. So I've been making for Arts in the Park, which is the first week in May, and I would love to see everybody there. Kendall's gonna come help.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see him. Don't overlove. Should I take ceramics in a
I was about
study?
to.
Is that a friend of yours, or is that just someone asking? I think, if ceramics is a question, yes. You were about to overlap?
Yeah, but I think they were talking to you.
I almost overlapped.
I'm not. I was pulling up too much.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Overloving, it's a real thing. Nice, Kendall.
Thanks.
I'm so impressed that you are self-taught just in December.
Mm-hmm.
I always say I need to bring some of my early pots from like my first years of making. Even after, they're embarrassing. They're awful. They're awful.
Well, at the time, you probably didn't think they were awful.
I don't know, because like I look at my students' work compared to my first pots, and like mine were awful. I don't know what I thought at the time. I think I was just in college having a good college time, not really thinking about how well crafted my pots were. I would like to see, the early pieces. What is the square you put under the piece? Plastic? Yes, so Kendall's on a square bat and I'm on a round bat, and it just allows us to throw the piece, and then when we're done, we can just take the whole pot up without having to like touch it and deform it. We just put the whole thing. What's the date of Arts in the Park location? Thank you for asking. It's the first weekend of May, Saturday and Sunday. I think it starts at 11 to 5, and it's in Richmond at the Carillon. There's an Instagram page, I think, called Arts in the Park RVA. I've tagged it in my posts, in some of my recent posts, Arts in the Park. And they have like more of the details. But it's fun because it's like aisles and aisles of booths of makers and craftsmen, and lots of pottery and painters and photographers and metal and wood and leather and screen print and everything. How do you fix it? The square. How do you fix it? I don't know what that question is.
Yeah, I thought you were asking me. I was like,
How do you fix it? I want to come to Richmond. Richmond is the best.
you know, it's voted number 6 places to visit in the United States.
By who?
BuzzFeed or something.
Yes.
That means it's true.
That means it's true. The internet said it. It's beautiful. Love watching. Thank y'all for watching. Thanks, Fred Kate. Nice earrings. Thanks. I did wear earrings tonight. We have like a minute left. I told you it goes fast. So, but my goal, guys, I'm still making for Arts and Park. This is my last round of making. I've got some berry bowls, vases, serving somethings, bud vases, plates, some bird baths. I have a little on my list, and this is my last batch. Firing, glazing, and then Arts in the Park. Here we come. 1 more hour. JH_pottery. Love your comments. Love them. So yeah, so anyways, me telling you that is I'm just gonna keep working.
Yeah, I kind of accidentally cut half the bowl off.
That's okay, that's what trimming's for. It's great.
Listen up. Put her down now.
I'll never love. Okay, thank y'all for tuning in. This has been so fun. Kendall, thank you for coming. Thank you for always working so hard. Kendall has been sanding the bottoms of all my pots. He wedges for me. You clean my wheels.
Get everything prepared.
Get everything prepared. It's just like having a fairy godmother. Only it's Kendall.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm from Brazil. Bad English. How do you keep the square? Oh.
There's pens.
Yes.
Little